Welcome to Destination Linux, the command center of open source Morphin madness, where every line of code is a Megazord-powered strike against proprietary evil. I'm your White Ranger this week, Michael, leading the charge with my Saba Sharp tech squad, ready to flip kick closed source into another dimension.
Because that's when I think about Michael, I think about flip kicks and Megazord.
100% backflips, obviously. Yep, sure.
Clearly.
Jill is our Pink Ranger, nimble code flipping dynamo who can spin up a secure app faster than she can pterodactyl punch a putty. Her creed, if it's not open source, it's just Rita Repulsa latest scam. Ryan is our ultra cosmic gray ranger, apparently, an all-powerful, legendary, galaxy-crushing gray hat hacker, obliterating server bugs with a single thought and outshining every Zord in the multiverse. That's not a thing.
What do you mean? What are you talking? That's a ranger. There wasn't a ranger that fit my personality. I felt like.
Oh, okay. So you had to invent one for you.
Yes.
I got you. I'll give you one that does fit you. The Blue Ranger, our Triceratops themed tech tinkerer, who once tried to compile a kernel using only a TI-83 calculator in sheer willpower. He's powered by caffeine, obscure man pages, and encyclopedic knowledge of 1990s error codes.
That's the only ones I know. That's it.
That's it. He's got an encyclopedic knowledge of that particular set of codes. Nothing else. His debugging technique, well, whispering sweet nothings to the terminal until it gives up out of confusion.
Or Vim.
Or Vim, sure. Yeah. If there's a problem, Billy got a book for it and probably written in Latin and bound in duct tape.
That's me. That's me to a T, isn't it? Like when you think about me, you're like, oh, that's Brian walking around with his Latin book. Yeah.
I feel like it's more accurate than the Gray Ranger.
Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Jill, you're not supposed to laugh at that. For real? Oh my gosh. What has happened to Jill?
This week's mission, we're morphing into Google's new terminal app for Linux on Android, powering up with an app to become your ultimate self, and diving into listener feedback on our Kove interview, plus a few more surprises from the Zordon Vault. So grab your power coin, sync your repos, and remember, in open source, we morph together to save the universe, one commit at a time. It's morphin' time. This is Destination Linux.
This week in our community feedback, we have 2 community feedbacks, Michael, because one's not enough. I doubled it. You remember Double Mint Gum, where they had the double?
I do.
Yeah. Well, we're double minting gum our community feedback this week.
That's weird to say.
Yeah.
But we're doing it.
Yeah, it's my Latin book. That's where anyways.
That's where you got your tips.
Yeah. My deep knowledge of 90s errors only. Vincent writes us and says, how dare you, Michael? Now, that's the way you start an email.
What did I do?
Listen, I have tried to give people hints on how to get on this show. That's a perfect example of how your email gets picked. Like as soon as I see that, boom, the email's in there. So let's continue. How dare you, Michael, insult our almighty Lord and Savior, Ryan? Well, I am the Gray Ranger after all. So
I mean, blue. Sure.
Not the Blue Ranger, Michael. I'm not why did you get the White Ranger? Like you're nothing. Anyways, Ryan.
Because I have martial arts skills. I can do backflips.
None of that's true.
I have shoulder pads because the White Ranger has
that's probably true. Helmet and shoulder pads. Probably true.
I mean, yeah, I play football. I gotta have shoulder pads.
Yeah, you play football. Oh my gosh. His choice of characters from the Alien franchise was divine. So you remember I made you the sleazy little corporate overlord guy?
I remember that happening. I forgot the name of the character, but I do remember that being the choice you made.
Is that why you decided to make me a Blue Ranger? Are you still upset about that? Do we need to talk about it? Maybe get on the sofa, have a little...
That's not why.
Are you hurt?
That's not why, but because Billy is only okay, I guess. That's why.
Gosh. You had to bring that up. I have to see it in my office now, by the way, where people are now wearing this shirt. Multiple people are buying this shirt, asking to get this shirt. and wearing it on calls with our leadership, Michael. So thank you for that so much.
Oh, man.
Because you didn't make it like a little tiny text in the corner. It's the whole shirt is this big Ryan is okay, I guess, themed ridiculousness.
And the best part is it fits Ryan so well because of the 90s. It's Saved by the Bell themed.
Yeah.
So it's like this giant Saved by the Bell retro, super colorful design. That's awesome.
It's unbelievable. Well,
I love the fact that this troll that I just kind of casually said, I was like, this is kind of funny. And then it became a thing to the point where people you work with are trolling you with it.
It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. Thankfully, I have people like Vincent in my corner. Vincent goes on to say, but between you and me, Michael, we both know Ryan is a puny god, and there's no topping the big G, Jill.
Apparently, he was only in your corner for a sentence.
Man. With friends like that, who needs enemies, Vincent? Who needs enemies? By the way, I've been listening for years and love the show. It's been a light in these dark times. Sincerely, Vincent. Well, thank you very much, Vincent, for your email. No matter how flawed it was towards the end, we appreciate it.
It started good, and then it kind of veered off a little.
Yeah, like we started really good.
That's what Ryan says. For me, it started off pretty bad.
It then ended well. Well, it didn't end well for you either. No, really, I mean, Jill's the only one that got accolades.
I mean, the last part where it says they love the show, that's good.
All right. We receive a lot of feedback on our openings. People are really enjoying it, and I love that people like the openings. It's very fun to write. But I will say, Michael, I've been thinking about our new listeners, and imagine stumbling upon this show. You're like, hey, I'm really interested in this Linux topic. And you click the show and you hear this ridiculousness that is our intro. Do you stick with it or move on?
Well, I mean, you do get the context quickly that it's about open source and Linux because we do mention it in the mix of all the madness. But I think it's kind of interesting because it's like, a lot of podcasts will start with music, and that's irritating. And then a lot of other podcasts will start with just complete gibberish that has nothing to do with anything. And then all of a sudden they start into the show and it's kind of confusing. So I don't know, maybe the fact that we have fun with our intros and it's always different and it's always some, geek filled awesomeness.
Trying an excuse for our stupidity.
I think that was a good excuse, honestly.
It was all right.
Yeah.
2 out of 10.
All right.
It's okay, I guess.
2 out of 10. I'll give it at least a 6.
Well, we also have our double up community feedback, Michael. It's double mint, remember?
That's right. The double mint comments.
Yes. We have John, who's commenting on a recent interview with the CEO of Kove, who said this: Hi, Ryan, Jill, and Michael. As usual, enjoyed this week's episode. I was intrigued by this interview and didn't know how far this tech had evolved. I feel that RAM Doubler back in the day was kind of trying to do what Kove is doing. I also wanted to say, Jill mentioned that she has a working VAX machine. That is so cool. Wouldn't it be easier to say what computer Jill doesn't have? Great show. And as always, I learned something. I think that probably would be easier. Jill has about 10 computers total, which is what? You got more than, nobody has more. Okay, 20, 30?
No, higher,
50?
higher.
She has at least 47.
Yeah, 47 is a ludicrous number, Jill. So nobody.
As someone who I have like less than 10. I only have like 4 or 5, unless you count Raspberry Pis. Then I have maybe 10 at that point. But
100
what was that
would
number?
Be absurd, right? Like
100 would be ridiculous. I mean, like if it was more than that,
Jill, have a problem.
What's the number, Jill?
Actually, I just counted recently. Since I've been doing the show, I've probably added another 50. So it's like 752 now.
She added another 50, Michael.
Yeah.
50.
You know what's crazy is that when she first joined the show, our minds were blown when she said she had 600 computers, and she's added 150 cents.
Yeah.
Jill, you may have a problem. Just a thought. Like, there may be a problem. Maybe.
Actually, I've had to slow down on buying computers because I just don't
getting
have the
50
space.
is slowing down. You're doing a great job, Jill. You're totally over your addiction. Well done. You conquered it. Congrats. That's amazing.
I told my husband I'm actually right now focusing on collecting mini unique computers because I just don't have space for the big ones anymore. Like my Digital Equipment Corporation VAX 6000 and my DEC Alpha. Those are the Digital Equipment Corporation VAX is a very tall, it looks like a big cabinet. Just say that.
I mean, don't I know it? Me and Michael have the same problem. We never know where to put our VAX machines, Michael. Like,
yeah,
do you know where to
exactly.
put yours? It's like,
I don't know where to put I don't know where to put my VAX machine or my fax machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Fax machine.
Yeah, the only thing I wish is that my VAX machine was on, it had casters, and it doesn't. My DEC Alpha does have casters, so I can move it around easily.
That's nice. That's convenient. You have a 400-pound computer.
Yeah.
Well,
multiples of them. Yeah.
Jill, do you like your VAX 6000 and DEC Alpha?
Oh, I love them. The DEC Alpha I used it in my render farm for years in the 90s. And my VAX machine, I've used that as a server. It's great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, if you have any issues with your VAX machine or your DEC Alpha at this point, you can, and if you get this 90s errors, you can talk to Ryan and he can help you out with those.
Oh yeah, if it's any machine from the 90s, I'm an encyclopedia when it comes to errors.
Exactly.
On that. Yeah, I got that down pat.
Ryan's okay. You know.
Jill,
I guess.
Jill, really? Jill, of all people. I feel attacked on this show. I'm not gonna lie. I feel pterodactyl punched right in the face.
Yes.
Right in the face.
It happens sometimes.
My goodness. If you want to help save me, if you want to help protect me, you should go to destinationlinux.net/comments and tell Jill and Michael why Ryan is more than okay, I guess.
If you want to rescue Ryan from Angel Grove, you can morph into the comments section. You go to destinationlinux.net/comments or destinationlinux.net/forum and hang out on the forum. You can respond to the post of this thread for this episode and let us know if you think Ryan's okay or you think he needs to be rescued from all the putties.
Unbelievable. You guys are the putties. You putties. Weak-thumbed putties.
That was my impression of a putty.
At least I don't have any friends that have my back, but I have Sandfly that's got my back, Michael. Sandfly's always got my back. That's what I can trust.
That's true.
And as Linux users, we know what's up. Security is non-negotiable. With threats getting smarter, your security tools need to keep pace without dragging your system down. Traditional agents, they slow you down and leave blind spots. And it's time for a smarter approach. That's why Destination Linux is proud, and I mean that. We are proud to be sponsored by Sandfly Security, the revolutionary agentless platform designed for Linux. You need to go to destinationlinux.net/Sandfly and see how they can transform your security strategy. That's destinationlinux.net/Sandfly. Timothy Lisko of DigitalOcean says Sandfly is one of the most exciting pieces of security tech I've seen recently. We're excited to not only be a customer, but also offer an integrated solution to our customers through the DigitalOcean marketplace. This technology addresses Linux security in a really novel and compelling way. Sandfly doesn't just detect and respond, it revolutionizes with SSH key tracking, password auditing, drift detection, and covering threats from every angle, whether your systems are in the cloud, on premises, embedded devices, all three. Sandfly ensures they're all secure without the headaches of agent-based solution.
And also, they give you an option for a free trial if you want to just go in there and see it and install it, test it on your systems. And if you have multiple systems you want to try it out on, you can test it on everything because there's no agents. You can just set it up on a host and then test as many as you want. And it is an awesome experience. And if you want to try it out, you go to destinationlinux.net/Sandfly. And also, you'll be able to experience the security that's not just effective, but it gives you peace of mind because, like I said, there's no agents, there's no downtime. just cutting edge protection.
Home edition too, Michael. 50% off for our listeners
right.
by typing in destination. If you want the home edition, so you could check it out, learn cybersecurity. You could be like Ryan and learn cybersecurity and do discount with destination at Sandfly. Go to destinationlinux.net/Sandfly. Michael, we need to change the name of this show. It's, I'm sorry. I know you've done a lot of branding.
Power Rangers?
That would be cool. We could do a whole thing where we rewatch Power Rangers and we comment on all of the shows and talk about the deep philosophical knowledge gained, the lore of,
Destination Morphin.
It amazes me that someone like you has seen Power Rangers, proudly talks about Power Rangers, knows all the different Rangers and information about Rangers, but hasn't seen Lord of the Rings.
In my defense, I don't know all the Power Rangers. I watched it as a kid.
You kind of do.
I only know the first one because I grew up with it, and I watched it as a kid because it was awesome, and I had a bunch of different like action figures and stuff, and which really that show was made to sell toys, which is I learned that as an adult how messed up that was, but still fun. Still liked having the toys. And if I had any of them still, I'd keep them for like a treasured item. But
maybe it's more nefarious because do you think Power Rangers? I don't mean to turn this into an interview with you, but are you the way you are because of Power Rangers? And does that make Power Rangers?
What do you mean the way I am?
Don't worry. Let's move on. So,
are you the way you are because of Lord of the Rings? Is that why you're okay? I guess.
Yes, you have my axe. I think we need to rename the episode to Destination Android now.
No way, Ryan. Horrible.
Why? What? Jill, you're usually the one with an open mind. What do you mean?
Android is not open source.
I mean, parts of it are, right? EOS?
Yeah, but it's got proprietary blobs in there.
It's true.
Yeah, and a very small amount of it is open source.
Well, let me try to convince you otherwise, Jill. This may change your mind when I get into this. Google has launched the Linux Terminal app enabling Debian Linux environment right on your Android device using Android virtualization framework. So this is part of Google's ambition to transform Android into a desktop class OS, potentially merging with Chrome OS and enhancing Android's capabilities to rival Mac OS and Windows for developers and games. So they're kind of like, I don't know. They were supposed to replace Linux with what was that thing that was going to Fuchsia. Yeah. And that was going to be like their new OS. That didn't go anywhere. It seems like that didn't go anywhere. And now they're like, hey, let's try that Linux thing that we built our whole business off of. It's not
maybe that Linux thing is actually good. We'll see. I mean, we already have decades of proof of it. That's great. But, let's see this time.
Because inside Google, they have their own custom, as I recall, Linux that all their workers use, right?
Yeah.
They have multiples. They have one that's based on Ubuntu, which I'm pretty sure is Ubuntu.
Yeah,
I think that's what they call it.
That's kind of.
They also
cute.
have like
I like Ubuntu. That's cute. Yeah,
it is kind of fun. They also have the Chromebooks, of course, is technically based on Gen 2 and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And
it's a cheap laptop. I mean,
I think they have another one too. But I don't remember what it's called.
Well, this app aims to allow developers to do things like build Android apps directly on an Android device, addressing the limitation of Android, which that's my biggest problem with Chrome OS. Like, I don't hate it, honestly. When I've played with a really good, because the Chromebooks initially were just cheap, and that's fine. There's a place for a cheap computer. But they started releasing better hardware. And every time I would play with them, though, it was so limiting in what you could do because you had kind of like 3 different stores you could get stuff. They had like a web browser store, and then they had their Google Play store, and then you could install Linux and on the back end, but it was kind of like a hacky thing. Now it's much easier, but back then it was like a hacky thing to get Linux working, and you can install some Linux apps. So you kind of had like 3 stores to get stuff, and the only place you could get like serious things like IDEs and stuff was if you installed Linux. So I kind of like this idea if they went with it and actually made Chrome OS less limiting. I mean, the advantage they were selling at the time was it was very secure and safe because everything was sandboxed in Chrome OS. Well, it was very secure, not private. Very clear private. There. Very secure.
It's not private.
So this is interesting. Recent Android Canary builds support running graphical Linux applications like Chromium, GIMP, and LibreOffice with a new display button and the terminal app to launch a graphical environment using the Weston Wayland compositor. And then they're also adding support for hardware acceleration, which is pretty cool. And then cool. Google plans to enable OEMs to run graphical user interface apps and games. And it could be a gaming platform, desktop platform, possibly using Proton for Windows games. Though ARM CPU compatibility may be a challenge there. It's currently limited
a little wonky.
To Pixel. So if you got a Pixel device, which if you're Graphene OS, you have a Pixel device. The terminal app is expected to expand to more Android devices with Android 16, though they're not certain on their support. So Samsung did something similar too with DeX. And I don't really talk about it a lot. I don't even know if it's still around. Honestly.
It's very weird because it's kind of like it was, but then it wasn't, and then it came back, and it's like this skeleton of what it used to be, and it sort of technically works, but it's not really the same kind of thing as it used to be. It used to be like you actually had a full Linux system, and it like passed off and switched to it, and now it doesn't do that anymore. And it feels kind of like it just turns it into a tablet mode or something like that. So they kind of have DeX, but nothing like what it was.
You can still do the keyboard mouse thing and mount it, but I think it's just like an Android OS now. It kind of becomes more of like a Chromebook, which we've already talked about the.
But also like the whole using the terminal app thing to make apps for Android is interesting, but that seems very inefficient and wonky and annoying. Because to use your phone, like I like using my phone to do like messages here and there because it's just faster sometimes. But also when I'm going to do work, I don't want the phone anymore. Like it's just not efficient.
Interesting. I thought about. I agree with you. But when DeX was a thing, I remember going to a hotel room and I traveled with my phone, my Samsung device, a keyboard and mouse, and I was able to plug in my phone into the hotel TV through an HDMI cable. Right. And then I had my keyboard and mouse, and I had basically a full computer right there. I didn't have to travel a laptop or anything that I could use within the hotel. It's pretty cool. So
that is cool. But
thinking about AI and the fact that they're saying you could create an Android app right within Android. You could develop it right there, which I don't know how this hasn't been a thing already. But in any case, that's one of the things that they're talking about. You could develop an app right in this desktop environment and basically launch it and test it right there in Android. And with AI being able to write a code through just prompts, you could essentially create an app, launch it and test it right on your device and never having to have gone to your laptop necessarily to go type out any code. It may not be a good app, but it's still, AI is changing the way we look at programs. You can now write something with.
That's true. And also, it is impressive what you can do. I have tested some AI stuff to see if I could build certain scripts in it faster than if I was running it myself. And it does do it pretty well. The whole thing is you have to make sure that it's following like the best practices and stuff like that, because it usually doesn't. And but I have been able to be like successful with building like Python scripts and stuff like that inside of various different AI stuff. And it is impressive. But at the same time, I did have to baby it and kind of handhold it so it would do it right. Because it would give me like the first time it would give me like just awful code I never even asked for. And then eventually it does come out with something actually usable. But it's kind of like seeing people who are not programmers trying to do programming and then using this as like a way to kind of bypass it. That's why I don't like the AI coding aspects. And also the whole vibe coding trend. No.
What does that mean? I've seen that like memes, but what does vibe coding mean?
It's basically just a weird way of saying, hey, I wrote it.
Okay.
You're acknowledging you didn't do anything, or you didn't do the majority of the work. You had AI do it. But some people look at it as like you're also still sort of involved. It's not just AI only.
There's no AI code that I've asked it to help write that I hadn't had to go in there and actually know the code enough to go edit, modify to make it work the way I wanted it to.
Right. It's really good at saving you a ton of time. Yeah.
Yeah. It creates right now, and it may get better. Obviously, it's going to get better. But right now, I find it's very good at creating a shell of what I need. And then you can go in and modify that shell. So it saves you a ton of time of having to write the redundant stuff out.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I did a script in Python that would have taken me probably like 2 hours to write myself, and I was able to do it in like 15 minutes because I just let it build out the majority of it, and then I just tweaked it to make it be like a better layout.
I think if you're not utilizing AI in your coding, you're probably going to face in the not so distant future being left behind, because people are going to be able to code Vibe. What is it called? Vibe code?
Vibe
faster than you can. And
the problem is that the code will I saw this, I forgot who said it, I don't remember, but it was like a really interesting point of all the different code that's being done through these AI stuff. Because like they're taking code from GitHub and public GitLabs and stuff like that, and they're taking this open source code and they're putting it in the thing. But not all open source code is worth putting in your system. It could be terrible. In fact, there's a ton of really bad code just because not everybody's a great coder. So these AI chat systems have been known to output garbage code because they pulled in garbage code, and they were saying that eventually the coding stuff people might be sharing the terrible code on their GitHub as if they made something cool, and just create this loop. And create this loop and it messes up the whole system.
I mean, it's kind of like what people tried to do with the Google algorithms and stuff. They used to manipulate them when Google first became super popular, right? So they would get SEO placement and stuff like that. Eventually, Google kind of became smart and found ways to stop people from doing that. I mean, you can never completely stop it, but they certainly limited it. Yeah. I think AI will overcome that issue eventually, but I could see that becoming as a short-term issue. AI has done some terrible things. I've had it try to work on analytics and numbers to, do quick calculations and stuff, and it will literally make stuff up. It will make things up that do not exist. Even when you're giving it clear, precise prompts and numbers, it'll just make up a result. And I'm working with the pro stuff that's within the big corporate, like the real expensive stuff. And it's, just makes crap up. So
my favorite part is like when you put in stuff that's you give it a simple question, and like there's a couple of these questions that it can't tell you how many R's are in strawberry. Like most AI chats can't answer that simple question. And it's just kind of hilarious, but they can do like,
they probably hard coded the answer into all AI bots now.
Yeah, at this point. But there's been people who are like manipulating, trying to get it to like the things that they should be able to do it. But there's like a whole list of different questions you can ask to test to see if they can get past this one weird problem. But I think we all need to know, what kind of vibe coding are you doing, Jill, on your Vax machine?
Yeah. Can AI even help with that? I don't know. Probably doesn't even know what a Vax machine is. It'd be like, I don't know, Jill. Leave me alone. Quit asking me these questions, Jill. AI gets upset with Jill. Could happen.
Well, I probably could do some pretty impressive things with Vim in there and Emacs, but
Oh yeah. So, when I think impressive, I always think Vim. Those two things go together like. Send your hate mail to Michael. That was Michael that said that, not me. This is a really good impersonation of me. Jill, tell us what's going on with Ubuntu.
Yeah, so this is exciting. The third point release of the Ubuntu 24.04 LTS long-term support series has been released with lots of bug fixes as usual and security updates as usual, but there are very important upgrades, including a new hardware enablement stack, which I know Ryan will love.
Thank you, Ubuntu. I appreciate you respecting me, unlike my fellow co-hosts here.
So this update
Sorry, Jill, continue.
That's okay. This update rolled out to existing Ubuntu 24.04 LTS users last month, but now it is available as an ISO, so you can download and install it. And keeping with Ubuntu's cadence of more frequent kernel updates, it includes the newer Linux kernel 6.14, which provides much better support for the latest hardware. Respect. And the updated Mesa 25.0 graphics stack is also included. Woohoo! Which was backported like the Linux kernel 6.14 was from Ubuntu 25.04. So look at how quickly we're getting Yay!
Finally getting to the point,
I wouldn't call it quickly, but it's still good.
No,
It's quicker.
But it's
quicker.
It's a lot better than going
Look at
several
that
years.
turtle moving quicker,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, but
that's true.
This is good. I'm very one of the biggest complaints I've always had with Ubuntu, and it's hard to complain about because it's so good, but one of those is the fact that, the hardware enablement is so slow in it. So I love that they're doing this. They're even doing it with LTS, and I think that's really good thing, and I applaud it. I love it, and I'm not going to say anything negative. Look at me. I'm learning.
I'm impressed and surprised.
Yeah.
Well, what's also cool is the Mesa 25.0 update adds a new package called Mesa Amber to Ubuntu LTS. This package has drivers for old graphics cards, like old AMD and NVIDIA cards, which are no longer supported by the main Mesa package. So Linux bringing it once again to keep those computers out of the landfill and that hardware working.
Yeah, not only that, but with the expense of computers these days, like it is kept. I mean, you guys know when we did Hardware Addicts, I'd have new hardware practically every other week. Now I've had the same hardware since like COVID, when all this stuff, I haven't changed anything.
It's crazy.
I think
the last time you updated your hardware was the last time we had an episode of Hardware Addicts.
Right. I mean, when you look at the cost of a GPU, it's absurd. And the performance you're getting out of it isn't worth the extra cost. You want to spend $1,300 for a GPU so I can get 10 more frames per second than 6700 XT. I don't know. I think everything is so geared towards selling them for AI. It's kind of like we finally were getting over the Bitcoin miner issue. And then AI came and was like, hold my beer. And boom, now we still have no GPUs that we can get a hold of for a good price. So kind of stinks. But so what I'm saying is really happy that they're adding in support for these older devices, because I think this is going to be important. People are going to hold on to their hardware longer and longer and longer because the expense is just absurd.
Yeah. Of course, as usual, this point release is available for all the Ubuntu flavors, including Kubuntu, Xubuntu, Lubuntu, and others. And it's Ubuntu 24.04.3 LTS is available to download as an ISO for desktop, Raspberry Pi, and server from the official Ubuntu website. And the next point released, Ubuntu 24.04.4 LTS, is planned for next February. Yay! We'll get another Linux kernel.
I may download this ISO and install it, since Fedora crashed on me, and why we had to re-record this episode, which you all don't know, but it happened. And
we had about 20-30% of it done, and then all of a sudden Ryan just vanished from the recording room. And turns out
Fedora won't update. It's got some broken update, and so I'm like, now, in fairness to Fedora, I want to be very fair. This is the machine. This is the machine that Michael said you're not supposed to be able to update it that way because it was so many versions behind. And so it may have just finally caught up. Like in Fedora's, in fairness to Fedora, I don't think I had up to that point had updated it for like 3-4. I didn't know it was still on my drive. And so I got it working.
That's the one you jumped like 4 versions or something.
4 versions, yeah. And so anyways, that may have just caught up with me finally at the end of the day, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's more likely. And also I think you stopped an update halfway through or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was something like that. I tried all the skip broken and duplicate and clean and all the different DNF commands, and nothing was working. So
I feel like it's just the version jump, because they tell you that technically they only do it every 2 versions. So I feel like it's probably just that. But also, I think that this is really cool news from Ubuntu, but also the next version of Ubuntu with 25.10, it's going to have Linux kernel 6.17. At least that's the plan. And what's crazy about that is that kernel will not be out yet. So they're going to be getting the RC version of the kernel inside of the release. So then, they can make an update to it.
Ubuntu.
Yeah, the release candidate. Isn't that cool? Yeah,
they're just pushing the limits. I love it. Welcome to Arch. I mean, welcome to the edge.
What's neat is Ubuntu and Canonical. We're talking about that, how it's going to be a while before the two merge with the kernel release and the release of Ubuntu. So there's going to be times when it's not going to be
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're putting in the effort to make sure that it's got the latest and the latest they could possibly give it.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't make the speed overall of the LTS updates because it still takes about 4 months after the interim release before the LTS gets the update to the hardware enablement.
Yeah.
But it's still better than not at all because that's how it used to be years ago. You know,
there you go. Well, speaking of razor cutting edge, Michael, what did you have to discuss today? Being on the bleeding razor cutting edge.
Okay. In fact, the latest and greatest, newest version that is constantly moving, Debian 13 is out.
Woo,
for those who don't,
edge.
For those who don't know, that is not the most fast update. It's one of the slowest updating systems, but it's a very important one. So Debian 13 Trixie is here, and there are thousands of new packages. There are dozens of thousands of updated packages over the course of this release from 16 Debian 6, I don't know, Debian 12 to Debian 13. It's because I was thinking about the kernel because they updated the kernel to 6.12 LTS. And they've also updated the GNOME version to 48, Plasma to 6.3, and GIMP to GIMP 3.0. This is the first release of Debian that will also support RISC-V at the same level as x86 64 and ARM 64. So it's a pretty big deal. And every single time there's a new version of Debian, there's always these big movements between like the packages of what was in the latest version versus the newest version. And this is something that happens every 2 to 3 years. And so it's a pretty big deal, even though a lot of people are not necessarily using Debian in terms of like user desktop stuff because...
Oh, you're going to get so much hate mail for that.
No, it's true. Gosh. It's true.
That's Michael, Debian, by the way, talking right now. If you want to send in your hate mail.
Ryan is doing a great impression of me. And but this is actually true because Debian is great and it's a fantastic foundational distro. And it's even a really good server
dig
distro.
Yourself out.
No, it's a really good server distro. You do have to do some tweaks to make the server stuff better, but it is a really good distribution. It's just that most people are not picking it for their desktop because it does move pretty slow.
Jill, do you use Debian as a desktop?
Oh, yeah. In fact, most of my vintage computers have Debian on them, including my DEC Alpha.
So Ryan is trying to call me out because I said most people, and Ryan asked Jill. Okay, so there are 3 people on this.
One out of 3 use the Debian. You know,
and that means most don't.
Yeah. Well, Debian, is the Swiss Army knife of Linux distros, of which all the Ubuntu distros are based off of.
Debian's a great base, for a lot of distros.
And it is at its best when it is stable. So you need that stable back end.
SID's way better. SID is way better. If you're going to run Debian, run SID. SID is dope. Yeah. SID's the cutting edge. By the way, Trixie, all the names for Debian are Toy Story, right? Trixie was the Triceratops in Toy Story.
That's good. And I had no idea.
Who's the Blue Ranger?
Perfect. How perfect is this?
I think I need to switch to Debian. SID, of course. But, just because I'm the Blue Ranger, apparently. My Latin duct tape book.
I love the accidental timing of this. Like, it's just, purposeful. Obviously, we did it on purpose.
You're so genius.
Yeah, exactly. This is also the first Debian release with Plasma 6. It's been Plasma 5 up until this point. So there's going to be a lot of changes for people. If you recently installed Plasma in Debian, you're going to have some giant changes coming to you. So you might want to just reinstall because it depends on how soon you did it.
Just update in the middle of a podcast and then cancel it and see what happens.
Yes,
that's what I do.
We know what happens. It doesn't work. They're also doing some security enhancements. They're adding protections against ROP or JOP, which is the return-oriented programming, and jump-oriented program attacks, which are basically advanced code reuse attacks. And they're also doing some stuff with Intel control flow enforcement technology, as well as many other things. But one thing I wanted to talk about is just that it's kind of a coincidence, or is it? Let me tell you. You can decide. Both of you can decide if this is a coincidence. Phoronix reported that Debian 13 showed a 13% performance improvement over Debian 12 with the AMD EPYC server.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence?
Or did they really go, we could get 15%, back it off until we only get 13%.
Or maybe they got 11%. No, we need to get to 13 to keep going.
Power.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Jill, I have a question for you.
Yes.
The world's ending. And that's not the question part. That's just a fact. The world's ending, and you only get to choose one distro, Debian or Ubuntu. Only one will exist. Which one do you pick?
Debian.
Okay, that's way too easy for Jill. I mean, how about Debian or Slackware?
Oh, geez. It's still Debian because Debian will run on all my vintage machines, most of them.
Look at that. I mean, that's saying something. Debian's got a place. I remember Jill saying that it was one of her favorite distros of all time. Like, you love Debian, even though you don't run it on your desktop right now, so you clearly don't like it that much. But you at least verbally tell people you love it, and then behind the scenes run something else, which I think is...
So I have
a little sketchy, don't you think?
Yeah, I just installed. I had Debian 12, and I upgraded it to Debian 13 on one of my show note computers that I used for the show.
Yeah. Well, if you really love Debian, you'd be running it as your desktop right now, Jill. That's all I'm saying.
I did for the first 5 years.
She was waiting for the update.
Yeah, I was, and that true story, because I do want to update this machine. I want to put Debian 13.
Oh, I just made that up. So perfect. I was right.
Yeah, you were right. But actually, when I started podcasting, I was using Debian for the first 5 years. In fact, when I came on Destination Linux, I was still using Debian.
Why did you stop, Jill?
Well,
because we kept having her test a bunch of other distros.
Exactly.
Michael, let me try to pin Jill down. I'm trying. You're not helping. You know how they protect each other, but they attack me? No. This?
I was just saying it's kind of funny because But the reason why she had to do all those different distro tests is because I was using one for like 5 years.
Yeah, and I just would not leave. Hey, by the way, Michael, I'm shocked.
Michael's exactly right.
You didn't tell everyone about KDE's new distro.
Because it's still early, super early days.
Like, how did you not pick that as your story?
Because it's super early days. It's not even, it's pre-alpha.
Are you going to run that though when it comes out?
Of course.
Yeah. You're like, duh.
I mean, that's like, how could you ask me that question? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, Jill says she likes Debian, but never runs it. So,
well, I will run it, but it's based on Arch though. So I'll probably run something else.
Oh, so it's superior to everything you have today. That's awesome, man.
There's a lot of cool stuff. Actually, because it's funny because, I have been doing a lot of distro hopping and stuff. So I have like 4 or 5 different distros running it on my machine so that I can play around stuff, and also having a laptop to do like a bunch of different tests. And it's partly because we're doing like new content and stuff, and I want to try out different things. But also I kind of got the bug again. I used to not do distro hopping for years, but also it's because of the reaction videos. I started doing reaction videos, and there were so many people who were like trying out new stuff, and it's like, it's making me want to try it again. Fine, it's back. The distro hopping is back.
It's sad you're doing reaction videos, though. Are you like one of those reactors that are like, terminal? Oh, like, stuff
of course not. That's just in the thumbnail.
That's Michael cute. Is very, very precise and very articulate. So, for those reaction videos, when people go to other people who do reaction videos, they're not near as on point and intellectual as Michael's are.
Yeah. I always say that they're like subpar,
Yeah, there we go.
That's the word I always think of, subpar.
Okay. You're mispronouncing sublime.
Maybe. Joe, what's our software pick this week?
So our software pick is something really fun. The boys here are always saying they want to be more like me, but let's just say their progress has been very, very slow. They've been naughty boys.
Michael, you defended her. This is how she comes at you. Our progress has been slow. I feel like if you go back and watch the beginning episodes where it was just before Jill joined, we have come a long way.
A long way. In fact, don't go back. Don't go back and watch this.
But to Jill's point, once we hit a certain point, we've our progress is slowed. Michael. Like we haven't really
plateaued.
It's plateaued. Yeah, we haven't really achieved full Jillism.
Oh,
we're working on it, Jill.
Yeah. So, in lieu of this, our software pick this week is called Table Habit. This app can let them both keep track of the habits they want to improve on and track their progress with graphs.
We can see what percent we've achieved. And if the audience wants to write, like, include in your comment what percent you think we have adopted Jillism. Like, are we at 10% like Jill, 20%? I would say I'm like 60%. Michael's like 5%, but that's just my rough math on that.
Did you say 65% me? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So, hey, Table Habit describes itself like this. It's an app that helps you establish and track your own micro habit. It includes a complex set of growth curves and charts to help you build habits more effectively and keeps your data in sync across devices, currently via WebDAV, with more options coming soon.
Oh, that's awesome. So, like, Michael could work on his micro habit of picking his nose and figure out how to stop that and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you mean?
So Table Habit is completely open source and comes with many cool features, including a scoring system to help develop your own micro habits, support for both positive and negative habits. For instance, Ryan, you can say a positive affirmation about Michael each day, such as, "You're doing an awesome job," or "You are an inspiration to others."
Okay, well, let me try this. I want to get this habit thing going. Michael, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. How
you have a
are
stupid
you?
face. I can't, Jill. I can't.
Aww.
Let me try again.
All right, one more try.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, buddy.
I just wanted to tell you, you're on time today, and your stupid face is bothering. I can't. This is the point: is that I turn it into a micro habit, right, Jill? And I keep working on it. I got closer that time.
You'll get it someday. Don't worry. Okay. Just be sure that you wake up every day and think Michael is awesome. That's all you got to do. Just think that. And also, if you would like to create a great habit for you, listener, you can also wake up and think Michael is awesome.
Or Ryan's okay, I guess.
Ryan's okay, I guess.
You wake up and say, Ryan's okay, I guess.
There we go.
The fact that I didn't think of that joke and you did.
That was great.
It was so good. I just thought, might as well throw myself under the bus and hit reverse,
So some other cool features about Table Habit.
You can make a habit of trying to fix saying table habit. So
there we go.
Jill.
That's a bad habit to say table habit instead of table habit.
That's the type of stuff Jill gets to work on. We have to work on our whole personality. Jill's just like, I'm going to work on a pronunciation of a word because I'm happy with everything else.
She's 99% perfect, and she's like, it's just the one pronunciation thing.
Oh, yeah. So Table Habit has an easy-to-use interface for habit check-in. Different colors are used to distinguish between various habits, and you can easily export and import habits using a human-readable format JSON. Also, there is adaptation for landscape and large screen devices. And you can download Table Habit as a Flatpak on flathub.org for Linux or as an APK for Android on F-Droid, for those of you that want to change the name to Destination Android. Ryan.
I think this is a super cool app. I love the idea of the micro habits. And a lot of people think like, I want to go to the gym. And so I see this all the time where I want to go to the gym. So they set a schedule for themselves where they're working out 5 days a week. And then
that's
3 weeks later,
guarantee for disaster.
And they never do it again. Right. And then there's people who want to eat better. And so they're like, I'm going to get rid of every snack in my house and it's only vegetables. And then a week later they fail at that. Whereas I think
they only had vegetables.
Yeah. It's much more effective to kind of start changing things slowly versus making these major changes. And this allows you to, whatever the habit is, whether it's a personality thing, being more positive, which is very difficult in these days, or whatever it is, I think it's a good thing. One of the habits I want to work on, for instance, is, last week I was a little bit negative on an app. What was the app's name, Michael? I forgot. What is the name of it?
It's either Newell or Noel.
Newell.
Yeah.
So we got some listener feedback. We got one listener feedback that mentioned that, it was a little harsh. And you know what? I accept that I was a little harsh on it, and I'm going to create a micro habit. Ryan, stop being a meanie stupid face towards apps because it's open source, and I got to thinking about it. It's like, this isn't some, big corporation making an app, and they could make some little changes and it could be great. And with open source, it's probably not fair to have that kind of criticism. So bad Ryan, I'm going to be more like Jill in the future and be nicer, Jill.
Aw. Very good.
Look at that. See how I've grown as a person, Michael?
Yes.
That was a great pivot. I like it.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, you said you're going to start the habit now. That doesn't mean that you have changed. You're still
totally not. Yeah, it's still the same Ryan in here. But if I track it, I could track how much progress I've made. And next time I want to be a meanie stupid face, I could be like, no, let me open table habit. And
well, to be fair though, you said that other people examples you were given were the people who were eating like they want to eat better or they want to go to the gym, and after a week later they just quit. So we're not going to find out until a week from now if you've made any changes. So
you guys are going to purposely pick an app that will like trigger me and see if I react, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, I wouldn't say that publicly that I would do that, but yeah.
Well, look, we can all grow. We can all improve except for Jill. A big thank you to each and every one of you for supporting us by watching or listening in Destination Linux. However you do it, we love your faces. And you can come join us in our Discord by going to tuxdigital.com/Discord and check out all the amazing people there that we have. And you can let us know which Ranger you think we are. Obviously, Michael was wrong about me being the Blue Ranger. Which Ranger should I be? You could put that in the comments. You could go there. It could be a whole discussion and voting.
And also, you don't have to stick with these original Rangers. You could pick any Ranger. You can also call him Goldar. Whatever you want. Just let us know.
Michael, you need table habit to be nicer to me. You need to work on your microaggressions there, buddy.
I might need to. I might too.
Stuff Geek, Ryan, it makes sense that you need to be the Green Ranger.
What was the Green Ranger? Was that a good Ranger? Were they powerful? Did they destroy worlds?
So technically the Green Ranger was evil originally. So
okay, cool. Actually, I'm liking this. All right.
But the problem is that the Green Ranger was evil and he becomes good and then he turns into the White Ranger. So you can't be the Green Ranger because I'm already White Ranger.
Okay, that's right.
I would turn into Michael. Would you imagine that being my life goal? Me? Oh, I want to be Michael.
To be fair, that's a really good life goal.
That is the most ridiculous thing.
Really good.
Oh my God.
So if go to touchdigital.com/Discord to join us in the Discord server, and also let us know which version of the Power Rangers. You don't have to stick with just the original. You can go to like the Neo.
Not just Ryan, Michael and Jill too.
No, I'm White Ranger automatically. It's solved. But
what is this show? Just call it the anti-Ryan show.
No.
Destination Linux.
We're not anti-Ryan. Ryan is okay, I guess. So if you want to support this awesome show that's not anti-Ryan show, you can go to tuxdigital.com/membership. You become a patron, you get a bunch of cool perks like being able to watch the show live, being able to get access to the unedited episodes. You even get merch discounts in our store because there's a lot of cool stuff in our store. We have hats, mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. Oh, speaking of shirts, there's the Ryan's Okay, I Guess shirt at tuxdigital.com/store.
Thankfully, we almost had forgotten about it, but last minute, you remembered to bring that up. We should have a Ryan's Okay, I Guess patron tier, and it should be the most expensive one. And so people want to put their money where their mouth is. Get a Ryan's Okay, I Guess.
You know what? Just I think we should do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know that could be one of the perks for becoming a patron of the Ryan's Okay, I Guess, is we send them a shirt.
Oh man, it'd be like a $200 a month membership to be a Ryan's Okay, I Guess. Yeah. We're cheap, so to get a free shirt, you're gonna have to really spend some money.
Fork out some money right there.
Yeah, a lot of money.
And also, if you want to enjoy more of this goofiness and this fun Linux tropes across the universe, check out all the other amazing shows here on Tux Digital. That's right. We have an entire network of shows to fill your whole week with geeky goodness. Head to techdigital.com to keep those Linux penguins marching.
Are we goofy, Michael?
Yeah. Let's carry the yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. Just checking.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like goofy is a very, very good way of describing us. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this Morphin show, this episode, and we want you to have a great week. And remember, the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
You know what, Michael?
Okay.
When you said this Morphin show, it's almost like you turned morphin into a curse word. This Morphin show. This Morphin show.
Morphin show.
Look at that. What's your passcode on your watch?
I don't know.
That is literally I don't know. I type I don't know and I get in.
No, it's numbers. It's numbers. You can't. No, it's numbers. And also, I open it with my phone anyway. So who cares? Who cares?
What is your passcode though? Let people know.
Let's see.
1 2
1337.
Loot. What is that?
Leet.
Leet.
It's not
Leet.
that. No, that's too easy. That's too.
Jill's elite hacker, right? That's the one. That's the word Jill uses all the time. There.
Haxor.
Anyways, guys, we have to go because there's some clay faces out there that we have to go. Is that what their name of clay faces? There's clay faces out there.
The clay face is a Batman villain. They're putties. They're putties.
There's putties outside my door. It's Morphin time.
Oh,
hey, what's the Blue Ranger say, Ryan? What's the Blue Ranger say, Ryan?
I don't know. Something in Latin, apparently, or a 90s error code.
That's close enough.
Blue screen of death. I don't know.
Hey, that works because we're ending the show. So that's perfect.
Blue screen of death,
everybody.
Blue Ranger.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Love you all.